Hello, friends. It's Etty from the Lincolnwood Library, and I'm here to share some book talks for Women's History Month. Hopefully, you'll find something that you love from this pile and from our awesome displays that we have going on in the library, in the lobby, and in the youth section to celebrate awesome creators who are making amazing books. So let's get into it. So, first creator I have to talk about is Renee Watson. She is just an incredible creator. This is her book Ways to Make Sunshine. That is her foray into chapter books, and it's a series, and I love it. This is all about Ryan, which name means king, and she is just trying to find out how to be a leader and just grow into her name. And it's just like slice of life stories, figuring out that kind of stuff. What is it like to be a fourth grader? Very much sort of in the style of Ramona, but all her own, as Renee Watson always does. So highly recommend. I have to shout out I Am the Night Sky and Other Reflections by Muslim American Youth, a groundbreaking collection of essays, stories, comics, art from young adults sharing their story. We actually had a really super awesome author visit with Sasa and Fatima, who are in this collection, so you can go watch that on our YouTube channel and celebrate young people telling their own stories this month and all the year. I absolutely love Strange Birds, A Field Guide to Ruffling Feathers by Celia Pérez. I'm just obsessed with this book. It's about a group of girls who sort of find each other in an unlikely way and join forces to challenge a sort of backwards club that like is not meeting their needs, and they do these really clever activist art responses to the club, and most importantly, they find community with each other in supporting each other and creating these really powerful friendships. Historical fiction fans, this is an amazing book. This is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. Love Malinda Lo. So glad to see that she has written more books. This is very different from other books, which are mostly fantasy or science fiction. This is historical fiction, and it's set in San Francisco in 1954, and it deals with kind of coming of age. It's about Lily who meets a girl named Catherine Miller, and there's some feelings, and again, 1954, and it deals with a lot of the context of history, of time, what it's like to grow up in Chinatown, and also just like what's it like to like develop those feelings when you're young. I just like it just draws you into the world and that time, and it's very much a groundbreaking, beautifully written book. Picture books. Love picture books. Have to recommend We Are Water Protectors by Carol Lindstrom and Michaela Goad. This book is the first book to award a Caldecott Medal to an Indigenous artist, which is incredibly groundbreaking, and hope for many more. But this is definitely a great book to read right now and always, and celebrate awesome Indigenous women making a difference. Speaking of Indigenous women making a difference, this is Classified, The Secret Career of Mary Golda Ross, Cherokee Aerospace Engineer by Traci Sorell, illustrated by Natasha Donovan. You can see signed copy. This is an amazing story that I never heard about Golda Ross, who is an aerospace engineer, and a lot of what she did still a secret, still is classified. But she had a tremendous impact on the U.S. space program and really broke barriers as a Cherokee woman in a male-dominated field, and continues to inspire with gorgeous illustrations and really her mentorship for other young scientists. Highly recommend this powerful informational book. Speaking of other informational books, this is Ruby Bridges, This Is Your Time. This is for young readers. Many of us maybe have heard her story, but this is a really great introduction for young readers. I'm just going to read the jacket copy. On November 14th, 1960, at the age of 6, Ruby Bridges became the first Black child to integrate an all-white elementary school in New Orleans. Escorted by federal marshals past angry segregationist protesters, young Ruby attended William Fantz Elementary and earned a place in civil rights history. 60 years later, Ruby has written an impassioned letter to young people engaging in the fight for racial equality. Her words, a call to action imbued with love and grace, are paired with black and white photographs from then and now. This Is Your Time will inspire readers as the struggle for liberty and justice for all continues, and the powerful legacy of Ruby Bridges endures. I had a chance to see her speak this year at, I believe, the American Library Association conference. It was incredibly powerful to hear her talk and share her story, and a call to action to continue the work. Speaking of continuing the work, this is Finish the Fight, The Brave and Revolutionary Women Who Fought for the Right to Vote. This is by Veronica Chambers and the staff of the New York Times. And the really powerful thing about this book is that it focuses on activists, especially Black, Indigenous, and people of color activists, women who were fighting for justice, fighting for voting rights, for suffrage, for their voices, when oftentimes the story of suffrage is often focused on white suffragettes. And so I learned so much from this book. This is the perfect time to explore the fuller history of women's history. So read this. There's also an awesome digital play at below that I highly recommend checking out. It is incredibly powerful and a great pair text with this one. Another incredible book I highly recommend is hashtag Not Your Princess, Voices of Native American Women. This is a really powerful informational book written by Native women sharing poetry and art and essays. It is just a treasure trove of insights into the experiences of Native women and these experiences of Native women. I'm really, really, really happy that it was selected to be chosen for the Lincoln list this year. Hopefully lots of young adults and everybody will explore this book and read it and discuss it and share it. Another fantastic book is Noisemakers, 25 Women Who Raised Their Voices and Changed the World. This is a graphic collection from Kazoo and Random House Graphic, and it's a collection of biographies in comics form about amazing women made by incredible creators, I believe mostly first published in the magazine, but I love how it's all collected. I hope they do more of these anthologies. I'm here for all the anthologies because they really provide really great digestible insights and hopefully inspire young readers to want to know more. So for example, there is this gorgeous comic all about Maria Tallchief by Wishoyot Elvitre. And all you do is you want more and more and you want to learn more about her. And so down the line, you can get Christine Day's nonfiction autobiography of Maria Tallchief. So I love that there's an opportunity to continue learning and growing, and this can plant some seeds and light a spark to learn more. Another great book to learn more about the history that we may not have heard of before is Amazon's Abolitionist and Activist, A Graphic History of the Women's Fight for Their Rights by Mikki, Kendall, and Renee D'Amico. This, again, is a graphic nonfiction text, and so it's just super engaging, insightful, really fun to read, but it also really is cognizant of the areas of history that we need to talk about more. This is a graphic nonfiction text, so it becomes really accessible, really engaging. It's a great classroom resource, and it also just opens your eyes to lots of the history that maybe I know I wasn't taught, and also made me want to know more about each of the topics that they talk about. So highly recommend. Well, I hope y'all enjoy these book talks and found something you might be interested in. You can put any of these on hold at the library or stop by and pick them up from our displays. Feel free to let us know what you're reading for Women's History Month. We would love to get your recommendations. Thanks so much. Bye.